when I first started talking about Forex in Baby Pip's forum, one of the first things I mentioned to anyone that would be willing to listen or read what it was I was sharing is you're going to need a lot of patience. And for the old hats in here that have been with me since then, you know that's true. I said you're going to require a lot of patience. And either you're going to forge it, not fake it, you're going to forge it, you're going to create it. It's going to be made manifest in you because of putting in your due diligence of learning how to sit still. When you're not ready to do anything, you have to remain still. One of the things I found interesting living at the house I'm at now, we have like little groups of deer that frequently come out, and in the early morning and in the late evening they'll come out. Sometimes they're 15, 20 strong, and they have these little ones that come with them. And whenever they see something, the smallest of them immediately drop down. You can't see them hardly. What are they doing? Remaining still. Why? Because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the experience, they don't have the plan of action to do anything to protect themselves. And to be honest with you, I don't know if it's by instinct, I don't know if it's taught to them by their parent, but it's a skill set that every one of you as a fawn, a little tiny little fledgling trader needs to learn and be comfortable being still. It's safe. It's absolutely safe. In the market, it can't bite you until you get in there. On the sidelines, the only thing that's hurting you is your pride and your ego that you didn't do something. But many times it tricks you thinking that you really knew what you were doing. But really, if you were honest, did you tell anybody in advance? Was it public knowledge that you thought it was going to do this very thing, go only this low, then go up to that very high? And that entire run, you wouldn't have any adversities or any kind of anxiety? You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. And I see many people, even in my own community here, that are brand new that do that kind of stuff. You see it permeated in the industry across social media. Everybody knew it was going to do something after it happened. And when you talk like that and you really didn't believe that was happening, you didn't believe it was really in the chart, you weren't one-sided in your analysis, what you're creating is this overwhelming sense of impatience, because what's going to happen is you're going to trick yourself by lying like that you're ready to trade. One day, something's going to happen, and you're going to feel like you need to do something to change the way you feel about your life, your present circumstance. And you're going to go in there and try to press a button, and the results are not going to be favorable because of impatience. How do you overcome impatience? Well, it stems from a lack of experience. Experience in the sense that, number one, you have to know how these markets can hurt you. Obviously, it goes without saying that if you're wrong, you lose money. But you have to have experience knowing who you are. That's the first step. And all of the things I put you through, that's the first thing you're trying to discover. Who you are as a person, what makes you tick, what makes you think, what makes you want to take a trade, what's occurring in your mind at a time when you think that there's something going on in that chart. That's the biggest hurdle. Every single person that's ever going to amount to anything as a trader, profitable, consistently profitable, wildly profitable, the central tenet to all of them is they know themselves very well, and they know how they will derail themselves. And it's not a comfortable or popular topic when I talk on it, but it's paramount. It wasn't until I understood how I could unravel myself. Doesn't matter how many gizmos and things I can see in price action. If I'm miswired, if I'm off center, like I feel now, which is why I'm doing these. If I do this, it kind of allows me to discharge instead of going into the market and trade. Yeah, I made pretty good yesterday trading, but I wish I wouldn't have done it. I'll say that again. I wish I would not have traded yesterday. I broke a rule yesterday. And while I left with something, the win doesn't outweigh the fact that I know that I did not follow my rules. And I feel guilty. I feel like my hands are dirty. And in some ways, part of this Twitter space or X space, what do we call it now? It's something of a confessional. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I am a human being. I have emotions. I have a family, and my oldest boy has recently hurt himself, and I'm wrestling with a lot of different emotions. Fear. I'm anxious about him getting through the last stages of his healing. I'm angry at him for not wearing a helmet. And I went into the market yesterday and I wanted to do something. In fact, I told you yesterday, I want to do it, but I shouldn't. But I moved to the part of the house where nothing could distract me. And I gave the devil idle hands. And idle hands, well, you know what they say, they'll find trouble. And thankfully, it worked out in my favor yesterday, but I wish I wouldn't have done it. Now, as a mentor, as an educator, as a teacher, I want you to know that I'm prone to do those things. And you think that I'm a saint with patience. I'm one of the most impatient people. I have very, 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 very small patience. But I have to work very hard to be patient as an educator. So when you wrestle with it, just know that it's not just you. I do too. Everyone else doesn't. Everybody says they don't are liars. It's liberating when you're honest. It's liberating when you come to terms with the fact that what makes you impatient is the very lack of experience and the experience of knowing how you are going to think. How will you respond to that stimuli when you see that market move a particular way, fast up, fast down, or consolidated? One of the weirdest things you're going to encounter is you'll think when the market's being held in consolidation, you feel like you're going to know how it's going to break out. And you start anticipating, yeah, I think it's going to go up there. How do you know that? How do you know that? You just started. Do you have a journal, a track record of you trading with that idea, that insight, and it works? Or are you just thinking impulsively about what you may expect in price or what you would like to see, and you're projecting your will on price in a time of ignorance as a developing student? And I don't mean that to be derogatory. I mean in terms of the lack of your understanding, the lack of your ability. That is a state of ignorance, and everyone had that in the beginning. But you have to know that you have zero or very little experience when you first start. And the experience mostly is about knowing what you're going to do that causes you to react. I'll give you a couple of scenarios. If the market runs real quick, as soon as you sit down in front of the charts and you're expecting something to happen, or you join a community, or you're in a Discord channel, or you're among a number of other people that are sharing openly what their opinions are about the marketplace or one particular market, and you're watching it. If you're brand new, and I know this is going to feel like me kicking sand in a lot of faces of people that are trying to start communities or have a community, but I really want you to be honest, okay? And think about this and apply it to yourself.